Hello, and today we're going to be rating some Minecraft shaders, so let's jump right into it. For surface aesthetics, I rated BSL shaders a 10 out of 10 because it has a very unique style, especially how I set it up, but I absolutely love how it looks. The shadows are great, everything is great, and there's no complaints that I have actually, because it's all just wonderful. So next up is flexibility. For BSL shaders, I rate it a 10 out of 10 because it is incredibly flexible and has amazing settings such as that aren't very common amongst other shaders. Like it has like a retro filter, which I used in this settings, and more, which is absolutely incredible. Next category is performance. For BSL shaders, I rated it a 7 out of 10 for performance because it's one of the lighter end shaders, but it's still not the most lightweight shaders. It's right there. It's pretty good, but it's not the best. Last but definitely not least is cave aesthetic rating. For BSL shaders, I gave it a 7 out of 10 because as it does generally, it looks amazing, but with one caveat, which it doesn't get perfectly dark. Some people might not like it getting perfectly dark, but for me, that's one thing that I do prefer. So that's a bit unfortunate that it doesn't get perfectly dark. But now let's move on to complementary reimagined shaders. Just like BSL shaders, the first category is surface aesthetics. For the surface with complementary shaders, I rated it another 10 out of 10 because the rest of the shaders on this list, it has amazing aesthetics pretty much wherever you use them. Next up is flexibility. For flexibility, I rated complementary shaders an 8 out of 10 because overall it's an incredibly well-rounded shader with incredible settings, and it's incredibly versatile and you can do a lot with it. I didn't rate it a 10 out of 10 because BSL is better, so let's move on to the next category. Next up is performance, and for performance I gave complementary shaders another 7 out of 10 because just like BSL shaders, it is not the most high performance shader, but it's definitely not the lowest, and that can be said for a lot of shaders that are very similar to BSL shaders and complementary shaders. Next up is cave aesthetics. For cave aesthetics, I gave complementary shaders an 8 out of 10 because it looks amazing and has that pitch black setting, so you can have the caves go to perfect darkness when there's no light around, which I absolutely adore. But as we're going to see in a couple seconds, or in like a minute or so, there is a shader that does cave aesthetics better, which is going to be Rethinking Voxels. So for Rethinking Voxels, I gave surface aesthetics a rating out of 10 out of 10 because it's a port of complementary shaders, so a lot of these are going to be the same. For flexibility, also I rated it an 8 out of 10 because just like complementary shaders, it's an incredibly well-rounded shader and has a lot of potential. For performance though, the one difference that sets it apart from complementary shaders goes and drops the performance down to a 2 because it adds blacklight shadows, which are incredibly intensive. But these blacklight shadows boost up the next category for cave aesthetics because it adds another element to the caves that you don't get with many other shaders. But as you can see, there is some stuttering issues, so I'll show you how to fix those in a second. If you're having that stuttering problem that I was showing earlier, it's probably due to your your game not using as much RAM as it needs. So to fix this, all you have to do is go to the Minecraft launcher and then open it up, and then go to installations, then hover over the version of the game that you're playing on, and hit the 3 dots button, and then that'll bring up a menu, and you want to go over to where it says more options, and then under JVM arguments you want to look where it says XMX, and then it'll say 2G. You want to change the 2G to 3G, because that's saying it uses 2 gigabytes of RAM, but most systems have more than 8 gigabytes, hopefully at least 8 gigabytes. So you can get away with using 3 instead of 2, so you can change that number up 1 bit. As far as I'm aware, it doesn't break anything. It just goes and increases performance by a bit and stops that stuttering.